Welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host, Mark Guido, and we are headed for the Olympic Peninsula in Olympic National Park in Washington State. And we're going to take a pretty interesting way to get there, so stick around. So just to fill you in, we're back in Coupeville on Whidbey Island. We were in Whidbey Island camping on the last episode. If you missed it, I'll put a link right up here so you can go back and check it out. In the meantime, we spent 3 days in Cedars, Washington at a town park. I had some catching up on video production to do. So we camped there for 3 nights in a town park with electrical and water hookups, and I also had access to an Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspot. So that gave me the service that I needed. And to be honest with you, it rained the whole time we were there, so I really didn't miss much, although I did get there during the town's annual Logger Rodeo Festival. Takes place every July 4th. There are a number of events, including a carnival, which was actually set up right next to our campsite, although it really didn't turn out to be a problem with noise. In addition to that, they have wood carving competitions, firefighter competitions, barbecue, car show, all kinds of stuff. I didn't get out much to check it out because I was busy with the video production, and also it rained the whole time, so welcome to the Pacific Northwest. Today we're going to take the ferry from Coupeville over to Port Townsend, Washington. It cuts off about 3 hours of driving. It was $87 for the rig for the ferry, for the fare. Honestly, that's pretty much going to wipe itself out with the amount that I'll be saving on gas for driving those 3 hours around through Tacoma. So this is actually a big savings, and I can relax, I can film a bit for you guys, and not have to spend the whole day behind the wheel. So not a bad option at all. Come along. Operated by Washington State Ferries, the vessel Salish is a 274-foot ferry propelled by 2 engines with a combined 6,000 horsepower. It traverses Puget Sound at a speed of 15 knots, making the passage from Coupeville to Port Townsend in a little over an hour and a half. It was built in Seattle in 2011 and can carry up to 64 vehicles, passengers, and their cargo. On life's grand adventure, you definitely encounter some interesting characters. Let's go meet one of them right now. So what's your name?
Frosty Wooldridge.
Frosty, nice to meet you.
This is Sandy Wooldridge.
Sandy,
Hi.
pleasure.
Sandy.
Don Lindahl.
Hey Don, how you guys doing? Good. So you guys are, these folks are biking from Canada to Mexico.
Yep.
How long do you plan on spending doing that, or do you have a plan?
We don't have any plans. It's spontaneous bicycle touring.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And I've been doing it for 47 years across 6 continents.
Wow. Frosty, that's impressive.
It's been a great ride. This is the 12th trip across the U.S. This is the 13th trip across. Last summer, Don and I did Astoria, Oregon to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Oh,
4,500 miles.
with a lot of big hills in between.
A lot of big hills. We did have the incredible enjoyment of going through the Lewis and Clark Trail all the way to Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yep.
And the Columbia River Gorge is one of the most gorgeous.
It is spectacular. Great windsurfing country.
Windsurfing country, but also just you follow in the steps of Lewis and Clark and that incredible crew. And historically, it changed the entire continent. It changed.
Absolutely.
It changed it. Obviously, it changed it for the Indians.
You think?
Yeah. At the same time, it created that opening for the American spirit that has moved across, but also just great adventure explorers. Whether you look at Shackleton, because I actually have bicycled and camped out in Antarctica.
Oh wow!
I've stood where Robert Falcon Scott of Munson and
That
Shackleton.
is so cool.
Yeah. This is the bike that's been doing all this stuff. And
Whereabouts do you call home?
Golden, Colorado.
Oh, no kidding. So are you retired, or how do you get away with all this time on the road?
Traveling journalist. I write bicycle books, adventure books, how to adventure. My website is howtolivealifeofadventure.com.
Excellent. We'll put a link in the description down below.
Yeah, okay. And my latest book is Living Your Spectacular Life, and it shows anyone at any age how to break the bonds of the cubicle or the job that they don't like, and it shows them to go out into the world. And
I need to read your book. Because that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I need to read your book, but I'm still figuring it out.
So anyone at any age, if they're frustrated, if they're unsure of themselves, if they're not confident about what they're doing or how to get there, I actually show them how to get to where they want to go and how to find that thing that turns them on.
We wish you happy trails, and may the wind be at your back the whole trip.
Yeah, and less rain.
Yes, yes, indeed.
We rolled the rain.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest. Hey, thanks, Frosty.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So that was actually a really fun travel day. Got to meet some interesting characters on the voyage across Puget Sound. We're now here. I gotta admit, this is the very first time I've ever been asphalt docking, or casino docking in this case. We're at the Cedars Casino in Sequim, Washington. They allow free RV parking back here in the back of the casino lot. And amazingly, even with free electrical, they have 3 sites that have 30 amp hookups. The rest of us, I didn't get one of the 3 with the 30 amp. The rest of us were able to plug into all these light poles on the little islands in the parking lot, have 20 amp service. So I just put an adapter on the plug, and I've got electrical service for the night, all free of charge. Thank you very much, 7 Cedars. We'll go inside this evening and maybe have a drink, maybe play a little bit of blackjack to return the favor. And tomorrow we'll head westward into the national park, into Olympic National Park. Now I gotta be honest with you, Washington State's been a little bit of a disappointment from an RV camping perspective. You folks know from the channel, if you've been around a while, my preference is for free boondocking on public lands. There's very little public land available west of the Cascades, and to be honest with you, even in the Cascades, there's very little free dispersed camping available. Usually they're paid campgrounds, and quite frankly, the campgrounds in Washington are awfully expensive. Gas is expensive. A bunch of things seem to have really high tax rates on them. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm having fun. It'd be nice to see a little more sunshine, but this is the Pacific Northwest. I knew this going into it. So I'm finding myself doing stuff that I've never done before, like asphalt docking. Well, that was actually a pretty good overnight. went into the casino and at one of the restaurants. Had a really nice, good fish and chips for dinner. The power did go out about 10:30 last night. Apparently it tripped a circuit breaker that nobody could find. But by that point I was ready for bed anyway. Thank you to the Jamestown Seldom tribe for the chance to overnight at the casino last night. US 101 follows the Strait of Juan de Fuca westward, although it's worthy to depart on local roads to see some of the coastline around Dungeness Bay. Those mountains on the horizon are actually Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, home to the provincial capital of Victoria. The Olympic Peninsula features towering glacier-covered mountains right up against the sea, a remarkable juxtaposition. This is the Port Angeles terminal for the international ferry to Victoria. West of Port Angeles, the 101 enters Olympic National Park. The park's lakes and rivers all seem to have this striking translucent azure hue, thanks to the glacial sediment suspended in the water that's carried down from the Olympic Mountains. The Olympic Peninsula is heavy-duty logging country. Clear cuts and logging trucks are omnipresent. So it doesn't get any more Pacific Northwest than this. We are at Cape Flattery, which according to geographers is the furthest northwest point of the lower 48. So I guess we've finished our northwestern journey. I've been to the southernmost point in Key West. I guess that means I now need to get to Caribou, Maine and to San Diego, complete all four corners. But this is one absolutely spectacularly beautiful stretch of coastline. Apparently we're so far northwest that Verizon thinks we're in Canada. Rialto Beach and La Push are two stops worthy of a short detour on Washington State Route 110 from the town of Forks. So, the South Beach Campground in Olympic National Park is everything it was cracked up to be. I mean, this is spectacular. It's just the relentless sound of pounding 8-10-foot waves out there. The smell of the salt water. I wish I had smell-o-vision so you could smell the salt air. It is just spectacular. It's $15 a night. It's dry camping. Even though I'm right next to my neighbors, frankly, this is the first time in a while on this trip that I actually feel like I'm camping and not parking. This is just wonderful. South Beach is first come, first served. So if you want reservations, there's another national park campground 3 miles further north, the name of which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Many of the sites are hidden in the forest right up against the 101, so we actually prefer South Beach. I'm going to spend 3 nights here and use the time to explore our surroundings in Olympic National Park, including some of the rainforest areas, maybe even some of the higher elevations, although those are a little harder to get to from here. You've got 3 different climate zones here. You've got the high alpine, you've got the temperate rainforest, and you have the coast, all within one giant national park. The national park itself is kind of segmented. You have that large blob in the middle, which is the core of the Olympic Mountains. But other than that, this area is kind of a patchwork of private land, national park, national forest, state lands. It's a heavy logging area, but I'm sure we'll find plenty to see in the next couple of days. While one of my campground neighbors catches a nice string of surf perch, let's head into the rainforest. The narrow, twisting road into the Hoh Rainforest follows the Hoh River, offering an occasional glimpse of the glaciated Olympic Mountains in the distance. Not many at the Visitor Center seem interested in the Hoh River Trail, so as far as I'm concerned, that makes for an excellent out-and-back hike to experience this best example of the temperate rainforest in the continental U.S. Got to admit, a giant Sitka spruce like this makes me feel really, really small. This thing is just positively massive. Go, 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 go. Following a big night's sleep, I'm going to use this big empty stretch of beach to burn some of the girls' energy. So we're going to celebrate July 4th here at South Beach Campground. We hope that you've enjoyed coming along with us to Olympic National Park. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below. If you're not yet one of our great adventurers, smash that subscribe button. We'd love to bring you along and ring that notification bell. We'd also love your feedback in the comments section down below. And until next time, please remember, life is nothing but a great adventure. We'll see you soon.